Well, this past weekend, a non-conference series versus St. Mary's right here at Alumni Memorial Fieldhouse. Well, the Foresters grabbed 6 goals on the weekend, 5 of which came in the second period. It was a 2-1 win on Friday and then a 4-4 tie on Saturday night. One of the most exciting weekends of the season is upon us as Lake Forest is going to host MSOE on Friday night, and then they'll head to Mequon, Wisconsin Saturday to square off against Concordia, Wisconsin. I'm Cam McGuire, the voice of Forester Hockey, and coming up next, joining me in this week's episode of Inside Forester Hockey is head coach Pat Keller. Well, hopefully it'll be the last weekend that the viewers have to see our mustaches, but you can still donate to the Lake Forest College Men's Hockey Movember page by clicking the link below. Well, Coach, let's look at this past weekend, a 2-1 win on Friday and then a 4-4 tie on Saturday. For a team that had no wins, they looked pretty solid.
Yeah, I mean, we knew coming in the weekend that they were a much better team than the record had shown. They had played a lot of really tight games against some really good competition. So I think that, their record was deceiving. We knew both games they were going to come out, and play real hard. So for us, it was a weekend where we had to be careful not to go in without a focus. And I thought for the most part the guys played well. Obviously, Saturday you wish for a different result, but it was a really competitive weekend. I think two entertaining games. So.
Well, positive to take away on Saturday. 4 goals, obviously. 2 of them came from Cody Goodorzi and then 1 from Austin Ack. So those are 2 guys you guys look to heavily to score goals.
Yeah, I mean, they're 2 guys up front that are good offensive players for us for sure, and it was good to see them get on the board. I mean, to score 4 goals, I mean, it's been a little bit of a grind for us this year scoring goals, outside of one game. So it was good to pot 4. Like I said, you're definitely hoping for a different result when you got a 2-goal lead in the third period there. But at the end of the day, if we can have a little bit more consistent offense up front, I think we'll be able to win a lot of games here moving forward.
A couple things to work on. Obviously, face-offs, just under 50% this season. Saw Coach O'Malley on Monday working with the guys after practice a little bit. But is it something technique-wise? Is it something mentally that the guys need to engage more? And is it something you guys need to lay on them a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a combination of both things. I think obviously there's responsibility that falls with the centerman to make sure that they're working on it. They're working on draws after practice, things like that. There is some technique to it, but it's also, I think, a mentality or team mentality where we're maybe trying to win too many draws clean, and it's not working out for us. So we have to be able to change our mindset and say, okay, maybe it's more tie-ups, maybe it's more 50-50 pucks with or defensemen and D-zone draws helping out, with 50-50 face-offs. And, I think just our team mentality has to be better on draws, more engagement, and not just solely relying on our centermen to win the draw clean.
Look at this past weekend. You only gave up 2 goals on the power play. You guys had 15 infractions. Discipline's going to be a huge part moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, it was a weekend without a ton of discipline from our team, unfortunately, when it came to penalties, and we're typically a team that's used to seeing a few more power plays a game than the opposition. So we addressed that and talked about it as a team. I think anytime you're giving up that many power plays against, it's just a momentum suck. You have certain guys that aren't getting on the ice as much as you like, maybe guys that aren't on the PK or aren't on the power play, and it just becomes a special teams battle, and it can really take some momentum away from your team. So I think moving forward, I think it's been addressed. I think the guys understand how important it is for us to play 5-on-5 hockey or be on the man advantage. So I don't expect that to be a big problem moving forward.
Well, flipping the page here this weekend, 2 huge games, both opponents coming in the South Division with you guys. MSOE on Friday at 7 p.m. at home, and then travel to Mequon, Wisconsin on Saturday against Concordia. These are 2 huge matchups.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, anytime you're playing South Division opponents, obviously the stakes are raised, and for us to date, these are our 2 biggest games of the season. It's always fun to play this weekend. I think both MSOE and Concordia, two good teams, generally produce some And I think for our guys, they're fun games to play in. You know, they're teams that are always kind of in the playoff race, and we're battling for position with. So definitely looking forward to the weekend. You know, I think for us, we need to have, you know, a little bit more consistency to our game. You know, we had a decent weekend this past weekend, but, you know, moving forward, try to string together some really solid games back to back, hopefully.
Before we wrap things up, Concordia last season, you guys obviously lost them both times in the regular season. You got the better end of them in the playoffs. You got to imagine they're going to remember that one.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think, you know, whether or not it's a focus for their team coming in, it's something that in the back of their minds, I'm sure those guys will remember. And but all 4 games last year, you know, were really competitive. They obviously got the better of us in the regular season, and you know, we got them in playoffs. We were playing, I think, pretty well down the stretch there. And but all 4 games really exciting. It's always a battle against those guys. You know, fast pace, up and down the ice, lots of chances both ways. So I certainly expect no different this year from them.
Well, Friday night at Alumni Memorial Fieldhouse, it's going to be a whiteout, 7 p.m. right here, and then on the road on Saturday against Concordia at 7 p.m. as well. That'll do it for this week's episode of Inside Forester Hockey.